Hello, welcome back. Um, we've been we've been struggling, but it's okay. I haven't had the mental capacity to sit down and do this, so I just haven't done it, and I apologize for the large gap in content for those of you who are constant watchers. It's just been it's been a little rough, but we're making it. But I had something I wanted to talk about. Because this is something that I have also been working on. Um, and it is intrusive thoughts and living in your anxieties. Um, so like let's use intrusive thoughts as in like almost insecure thoughts, whether that be about yourself or a relationship or whatever. I'm not going to get into specifics about the situation, but I've been dealing with that, and I had to tell myself and even put it out in the world that I'm not going to allow myself to live in those anxieties. I will not allow myself to live in fear because when I do that, when my brain festers in that anxiety and the intrusive thoughts that brings the anxiety, then I become a person I don't like. And I don't want to be that person, especially for the people around me. For my people, I don't want to do that. I want to be able to be a positive beacon, like at least a really good support system for my people. And I can't do that if I am allowing myself to live in those fears. Um, so we we're not allowing it. Um, I've had to learn again how to catch myself whenever those thoughts start creeping in and the doubt kind of starts surrounding. I've had to learn how to catch myself when that happens and kind of tell myself like this is just my brain being a fucking asshole. And so whenever I can catch myself that way, then it becomes a whole lot easier to move on with my day. Whenever I'm able to recognize that it is simply an intrusive thought and it is not a legitimate fear, then I can prevent myself from ruining my own day. Um, and I feel like something like that is not easy to do, or at least it's not as simple as it sounds. So like whenever I was learning how to do this before, it was a constant thing of I had to take a step out of my own head. And when I say constant, I mean it was almost fucking constant. I had to step out of my own head and recognize that my brain was just being an asshole to me because anxiety and depression can do that to you. Um, so I had to learn not to allow it to affect my day because whenever I let negative emotions like that start fucking with my day, then it becomes a problem for everyone around me as well. And I don't want to be that person. I'd rather have someone else melt down around me and me be able to help them than me be the one to have the meltdown. And because whenever I melt down, it's not a good time, like for anybody. I don't get violent, but it turns into anger. I'm not a violent person, but that shit turns into anger. Whenever I get angry, like I have to I have to make myself be careful of who I'm speaking to and how I'm speaking to them. Um, I have to make conscious choices not to lose my shit whenever I'm angry. Because if I allow myself to lose my shit when I get angry like that, then it's a problem. Again, I don't get violent, but it's a problem. I have a mouth on me. I can spit some real fucking venom. Um, and I don't want to do that. So I don't allow myself to even get to that point. I don't allow myself to live in the fear and the anxiety, because my response to fear and anxiety after a certain level or a certain amount of time living in that is just fucking anger. Like I just get mad. I don't want to be the anxious person who suddenly gets angry, because shit sucks right now and my brain is being an asshole. I'm having intrusive thoughts and I'm having insecure thoughts, and I'm um having issues dealing with that, but that doesn't mean that I have to be emotionally irregulated, you know, which for me has taken a lot of work. It's taken a lot of time to be able to recognize that I can still emotionally regulate while I'm struggling. It's just a matter of I have to catch myself and recognize what is happening before I let it get to that point, before I let those anxieties fester and it become a real issue. Because once it becomes an issue, it's not just an issue for me. You know what I mean? So I wanted to talk about this because I'm sure there are other people who struggle in very similar ways. When most men are struggling with intrusive thoughts like that, um, it generally turns into arguments between them and whoever it is, or we just get ignored, you know, and like that shit sucks for sure. It sucks. Nobody likes being ignored. Nobody likes being told that their feelings don't matter. But for men specifically, that's generally what happens. We're told to man up or suck it up, or whatever way you want to say it. But it's all the same shit, right? And that doesn't work like at all. It that is exactly why 80% of suicides are men, because we are not allowed the safe space to talk about shit, or we are told that we are, then we get mocked for it, or somebody looks at us a different way because we're human, we have feelings. You know what I mean? It goes against the stigma that men have to hold up, and I think that shit's fucking stupid. Clearly, it doesn't work. Most most of us go through life struggling with emotions because we weren't taught how to deal with them. We weren't taught constructive ways to express them. And then whenever we decide we found something or someone to do about, or someone to talk to about a problem, then it's not a conversation. It turns into an argument, or uh, whatever the case may be. This situation never gets resolved. Um, so most of us go through and we learn to deal with shit on our own, or we just don't deal with it. And I'll tell you, I had to learn how to deal with things on my own. I had to learn how to deal with intrusive thoughts and living in anxiety, like we're talking about today, on my own. I didn't have anybody to talk to about the shit, and thankfully I do now, but I didn't at the time whenever I was learning. But it was either I figured it out or I wasn't going to be here anymore. So I figured it out. Um, it became no bullshit. If I wanted to live, that's what I had to do. It was pretty much life or death. So I learned, and that sucks to think that most of us don't have that safe space. Um, but what I want to do with this is make this a safe space for everybody. I don't give a shit who or what you are. This is a space that you are safe in. I don't I'm not a judgmental person. I am the person who will tell you like it is. That doesn't mean I'm trying to be an asshole, but that I'm just, let's call a spade a spade. You know what I mean? So I had to learn to do that through living with the depression and the anxiety and living in fear about anything. There has been a lot in the last 5 years that I've been afraid of, and whenever I let those fears just fester and build, it becomes a major problem. I can't go to work the same way. I can't, like, my hygiene starts slipping, my cleanliness of my house starts slipping. It's a bad problem for me. And if I when I had to relearn, or at least remind myself how to catch myself before issues became bigger issues, I had to remember that regardless of what my intrusive thoughts are telling me, everything is going to work out the way that it's going to work out. And there isn't anything that I can do to influence most things. I can I can control me, you know. I can control how I react to a situation or respond to a certain situation. I can control that. I can't control anything else. I had to relearn that because that's just a part of life. Like, things are out of your control and there ain't shit you can do about it. So why bother worrying about it constantly? Why would you do that to yourself? You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure it goes for men and women all around. Like, we have to learn there are things that are out of our control, which is 90% of life. Um, so why even allow yourself to live in the fear and the anxiety that your intrusive thoughts are going to bring you if there isn't anything you can do about it? If it is something that you can control, then just take control of the situation. If it is something that has to do with you, let's say it's a self-worth issue, right? Um, you are having constant thoughts of worthlessness, and it festers and it turns into, it brings that depression, and it brings a whole lot more anxieties, like, am I good enough for this? Am I good enough for that? Am I going to be able to do anything with my life? And shit like that. Like, you can control that. um Maybe not necessarily the intrusive thoughts, but you can prevent yourself from living in the fear that those thoughts bring, and then change the situation that you're in. If you don't like the situation that you're in, then fucking change it. You know, it's a whole lot easier that way. I'm not saying it's simple to make changes like that. What I'm saying is it's a whole lot easier to do that than it is to live in the fear and the anxiety and the depression that all those fucked up thoughts bring us, right? Because it it becomes a major problem for everyone. In some way, shape, or form, it becomes a major problem. So, if, let's say, you wake up early in the morning and you are getting ready for the day, and your brain, it's bad brain day, as I call it. And you got the anxiety and the intrusive thoughts coming in, and so on and so forth. If you can catch yourself and identify why you'd be having that thought, now you have something to go on to fix the issue. If it has something to do with you, you can fix that issue. If it has something to do with a relationship, um, sort out first. What I recommend is you sort out whether or not it is a personal, individual issue, or if it is a problem in your relationship. If it's a problem in your relationship, then that's a conversation that you and your person need to have and work out together as a team. If it is an individual issue, by all means, keep your partner informed, but it is not their problem. If they want to be there and help however they can, that's fucking great. You picked a good one. That's what you want. don't be reliant on someone else to fix your problems for you, your individual problems, because it doesn't work that way. Someone else can't heal you. Someone else can't get in your head and take away whatever issues that you're having that day. It doesn't work that way. You can't rely on codependency in order to heal you. You have to deal with that yourself. All codependency is going to do, because becoming reliant on someone to heal you does become codependency. If that's not literally the definition, I don't fucking know. I'm not a psychologist, um, but that's what that turns into. And codependency doesn't help anybody in a relationship. Doesn't do anything good for you, your person, the relationship itself. Doesn't. That's not productive. If anything, it's destructive. Um, so don't allow yourself to do that. If you value a relationship and you have something very good going, and you can have the conversation of this is what's going on, um, that's great. That's what you want. But again, don't allow that to become codependency and expect someone else to be able to heal you if you don't know what the issue is yourself. Or if you're not even doing the work to heal you. You know what I mean? Um, because ultimately we are our own problem. Does that make sense? It is up to us to deal with our issues. It is up to us to identify what the problem is. And it is up to us to fix the problem, because we have to face the issues ourselves. We can't have someone else face the issues for us. It doesn't work. You can't ask somebody to pour into your empty cup, filling your cup up, and then their cup becomes empty and they're not getting their cup refilled. All that does is destroy a person. That's how that's how people become a shell of themselves. Both people have to be nourished and both cups have to be filled. And a really good way to make sure that that keeps happening is if you can work on your individual issues and work on relate if you can work on your individual issues on your own. Again, if you could talk to your person about it, that's fucking great. That's what you want. If you have another resource, that's good too. Um, either way, eh, hello. Either way, the issue needs to be resolved. And if the issue is not getting resolved, then the issue becomes a bigger issue. You know what I mean? So we don't do that. We what we should be doing is figuring out the individual issues. Keep the people around you informed, but don't expect them to fix the problem for you, because that's not going to happen. Relationship issues are a totally different subject that we're not going to get into today. Again, that's a conversation between the two of you that you need to have with your person. Not anybody else, just your person. So, what we need to do, or what I needed to do, and what I hope helps somebody out there is I had to learn how to recognize that I was having intrusive thoughts and then not allow myself to be affected by those intrusive thoughts. I fucking wish I could speak today, because when we allow intrusive thoughts to affect our day, it becomes a major problem for the whole day. It's not one of those things where we're mad about something for 5 minutes. It becomes a real problem throughout the day. So if you can recognize what the issue is and what is actually happening in your head, like it's intrusive thoughts, or we're just anxious today, or I think my depression's kicking in, or whatever it is, that's when you have the ability to be able to um we'll call it preventative maintenance. you're able to perform the preventative maintenance needed in order to prevent that issue from becoming a bigger issue. Some people don't even know it's happening until it becomes an issue. And that's another thing. If you have people around you who know you really well, that's fucking great. Let's use depression as an example. Let's say you're depressed and you don't quite know that you're depressed yet, but like someone else knows the signs of when you're about to be put into a depression hole, we'll call it. Um, Hygiene starts slipping, or cleanliness starts slipping. Something that you normally do day to day, or something that you keep up with day to day, isn't happening or isn't being kept up with. That is a clear sign right there. And some days you're going to have that anyway. People who know you and people who are close to you are going to recognize that as a sign of, hey, I know it's about to happen. Let's figure out what the issue is before it becomes an issue. Those are the people that you want. Those are the people that you need to keep close to you. Or at bare minimum, I mean, very bare minimum. I kind of hate that term, but this is what should be the bare minimum, is someone who is willing to figure out a problem with you when a problem arises. If it is an individual issue and you can have the conversation of, hey, this is what's going on, and now you have more information to go on to fix the problem, that's a fucking win. Because you're not allowing that fear to just eat you up. It's not becoming anxiety stew. You know what I mean? So if you can practice that, if you can, I don't want to say master it, because I've been doing this for a while and I've had to relearn and relearn. So I don't want to say master it, but if you can learn how to do that, it becomes a very useful tool to keep your day to day as it normally is. And it is also really great to be able to self regulate and deal with your issues. So I say practice that when you're struggling with intrusive thoughts, whether that be regarding a relationship, self-worth issues, you know, an irrational fear, and most anxieties are irrational fears. Um, and I say that because it's something that's out of your control, you know, like it can absolutely be something to be afraid of, but if it's not something you can control, then don't worry about it. Because again, the only thing you can control is you. You know what I mean? You control your healing, you control how you operate throughout the day, you control you. Anything outside of that, you don't really have control over. So let's try to practice that and just see if that helps. It helps me. It might help you. I don't know how your brain works. I'm not your therapist, but that's what helps me. So that's all I have for that one. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.